Okay, so I'm going to have a rant in this video because I need to vacuum it somewhere. Um, this is about public service in the area I live in, called the Tyne and Wear Metro. I think I made another video about this, but well, I'm just fed up with them, utterly fed up with them, and they've given me yet another reason tonight to be pissed off. I want to make a few things clear before I get into this. Number one, I do not expect a busy transit system to be absolutely perfect. I've never expected that, and I could forgive the Metro if there were occasional problems. But with Metro, it's pretty much every day there is an issue. And being a busy system isn't an excuse, because London Underground is a far bigger and busier system, and from what I see from their updates, they don't have the same level of disruptions. Although, having said that, I don't live in London, so I can't comment too much on that. But I can comment as someone who lives in Tyne and Wear what I think of the system. I use it quite a lot, not as regularly as some people. I don't commute to work in Newcastle. I live in Sunderland. I don't commute to work in Newcastle. I guess this video is for people who live in the North East who are familiar with the places I'm talking about. If you're from outside the North East, I'm talking about two neighbouring cities, and this is a transit system that connects them, connects the whole metropolitan system. I don't want to say the entire system is entirely bad and it's always like every journey you make is a problem. I don't want to imply that, but there are some things that just go on and go on and go on as a problem, and the management don't seem to give a damn. So I'll give you an example why I'm pissed off tonight. This is just something that's just happened. I was coming out of Park Lane metro station, and a guy asked me, was everything okay? It was a metro worker wearing the orange. Oh, there's another point I want to make before I continue. Some people might say, oh, why am I ranting in a video rather than contacting them directly? I have contacted them directly. I have went through the official channels, and I've had their response, and I'm very pissed off with it. So, you know, I've went to them first. I believe customers should have empowerment, so this is my empowerment by having my voice here. Yeah, so what had happened was, yesterday when I went to Newcastle, I had a problem with the ticket machines. The first ticket machine wouldn't accept a note, the second ticket machine wouldn't accept a note, and the third ticket machine wouldn't accept a note. Finally, on the second attempt, the third machine did, but altogether that took about 10 minutes, when it should have taken a matter of probably less than 1 minute. So I was frustrated. You know, I had an appointment to meet friends, and it made me late for them. Not a major issue, you know, it's not something that's life-changing, but it's frustrating. And that's the sort of thing you could forgive if it was literally very occasionally. But with Tyne and Wear Metro, it happens all the time. The ticket machines in Sunderland are, in my experience, they're just not reliable. And I've seen other customers have had problems with them. Anyway, I spoke to this worker about this. His first thing was to blame Nexus, which is, from what I gather, the company that owns Metro. Now, even if that's a valid point, it's not the sort of attitude you take to a customer by just blaming someone else. What he should have done was emphasise with the fact that I was frustrated. Then what he said really pissed me off. He tried to turn it around, and he was sort of saying it's not an excuse not to buy a ticket. So he was immediately insinuating that because I was complaining about broken machines, I was going to not bother buying a ticket. That made me very angry, because I always buy tickets. I don't believe in fare dodging. You know, I wouldn't risk it anyway, because they always check. Like, when you expect that they won't, they will. So I don't do that. And for this worker to sort of turn it around and imply that it's not an excuse, I just thought that was a really bad attitude, and I've just sent a complaint there to Metro about that. But this is actually symbolic of an overall problem that has been dogging Metro for a very long time, and that is their attitude to customers. You know, they have an army of ticket inspectors in Newcastle Central and Monument and Haymarket checking tickets, which means they hold that as a very big priority. But customer care is substandard. It really, really is. That's the sort of attitude you get. Blame the customer and make excuses. And they really don't have their priorities right, because if it isn't checking tickets, then it's refurbishing stations. They had a poll today, what colour would you like most of all? Now I suppose I have to be fair and say, okay, well, they're giving the customer a choice, but they're also ignoring the overwhelming sentiments on the Facebook page. If you type in Tyne and Wear Metro to the Facebook page, it's overwhelmingly negative from customers. Now some people might say, oh well, people are never happy, they'll always complain. I think there's some truth in that, yeah. But on this occasion I side with the public, because I've experienced it myself. I know what it's like. Metro is not value for money. The service they offer is not value for money. I remember the train was late, and it meant that I was late for a meeting. Now they refused to give any compensation because I still made the journey. That was their logic. If a customer doesn't pay for their ticket, they're not going to sort of be understanding. They'll fine you, and they won't exactly be polite about it. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this system. Just now, I have to say, you know, there may be people in the world say, oh, you think that's bad, you want to see in my country or my city and so on. I'm sure there are much worse systems in the world. I understand that, I accept that. But what you need to realise is Britain is not a cheap country. Even in the northeast, which is relatively affordable compared to other regions, you know, it adds up. Especially, I'm unemployed right now. I can't afford. I'm relying on money that I've saved from the job that I had. I can't afford to be wasting money on having to buy another ticket because their system fucks up. And I'm fed up with it. I really am fed up with it. So I really do believe the time has come for a vote of no confidence in the leadership of Metro, because they don't listen to concerns. Nothing ever changes. Some people take the attitude, oh well, if you don't like it, use another service. I think that's ridiculous. You know, this is a public service. It's not like a private chauffeur. It's a public service. And if customers are paying money for it, it's reasonable to expect a better service. I think that is reasonable. It's like a contract. I pay for this ticket, I expect a good service. But what happens is you pay for the ticket, and more often than not you get a substandard service. So I'm just fed up with Tyne and Wear Metro's attitude to customers. And if you're a representative of the Metro, this is not an attack on you personally. You know, I want to make that clear. I'm not attacking any individual here, but there is clearly a breakdown in the system that is continuously letting customers down. There needs to be more staff in busy stations like Park Lane. There needs to be more respect for the frustrations of customers, not just excuses and reminding customers they need to pay for the ticket. That's obnoxious. If a customer doesn't pay for the ticket, okay, fine them, but don't insinuate to paying customers that they should buy it. So I'm just having a rant because I'm really frustrated with this. It happens all the time, and I mean, being let down in one way or another. I am so fed up with it, because customers are powerless. They have channels, they have, you know, a complaint number and so on, but nothing ever changes. I did, and the thing is, I'm not like, you know, I don't get on the phone and yell at people. I don't, you know, and I wouldn't particularly envy being in the position of a Metro worker right now, because they probably do have to deal with a lot of frustration. But they need to understand where their customers are coming from. I mean, if you choose to work in a busy transit system, you need to expect that customers will get angry when things go wrong, because from a customer's perspective, they're paying money. You know, this is not a free service, you're paying money for it. I don't think that's unreasonable, and I don't think it's a case of whinging either. It would be a case of whinging, and if it was, say, one problem, and you made a massive deal out of one problem. But with Metro, it is continuous problems. So I really do think from a consumer perspective there is legitimate anger out there, because I don't believe the leadership of Metro takes the concern seriously. I really don't. If they did, they wouldn't be prioritising ticket inspections. They wouldn't be prioritising the colour of barriers or whatever it is they're doing. They would be prioritising improving customer service. They're not doing that. Certainly not noticeable. You know, if there are committees going on discussing this, then they need to involve the public a lot more. They do, to be fair, they have a meet and manager session. Okay, that's a good concept, and I'll give them credit for that. And I think the Facebook update is a good idea. I will welcome that. So I'm not going to, that is a good thing. Okay, I'll be objective, that's a good thing. But I still feel that for the money that customers pay, it's not good enough. If you're from the northeast of England, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've had similar problems, similar attitudes from Metro staff. I'm not saying their job is easy, and I'm sure they also have to deal with difficult customers. That there are yobs on the system and so on. But I really feel sorry for international students or tourists who have to use this system. I mean, it's hard enough for us as locals. Imagine what it would be like for overseas people. I don't know. I'm not saying the whole system is bad. I'm not saying that everything is awful. I'm not saying that every journey you make has a problem. What I am saying is there is a trend of customers being let down. And the Metro doesn't... I just find they're actually very patronising and very, to turn it... that guy tonight, okay, maybe he'd had a long day, but it's no excuse. And he wasn't ranting or anything, but I just thought his attitude was very... So, if you're representing a company and you behave like that, customers are going to get an impression, and we're going to make videos like this. I'm just ranting now, but I've sent a complaint letter and I don't think it will be taken seriously. Probably I'll get an apology, but then a lot of excuses, and rather than just an acknowledgement that they need to improve. Anyway, I'll leave it there.